What's up, guys? I'm just doing another live stream. Just doing another late night rambling. Whatever's on my mind, I'm just gonna speak it. This video has no particular topic, so pretty much as usual, just speaking from the top of my head, whatever that pops in my head. And right now, for some odd reason, I'm thinking about the 40th anniversary of Purple Rain. Purple Rain, of course, the most well-known Prince album came out June 25th, 1984, and it's in my personal opinion, one of the best albums, of the 80s. I mean, and also one of my personal favorites. And when it comes down to like the era of the early 80s, of course, around that time you had British New Wave, synth pop, MTV was a new thing. MTV came out around that time, early 80s, and the whole sound of that particular era and everything. And even though Prince is considered R&B, if you really this is my opinion, if you really listen to like Purple Rain, it's more like a pop rock album than even though there's some R&B songs on there. And if you listen to songs like Let's Go Crazy, that's obviously like a hard rock song pretty much, you know what I'm saying? You know, and one thing about Prince, he was like one of the few black rockers who got black approval, because before then, even after that, any black artists who did rock music never really got popular among black people. You know, yeah, you can like go back to like Jimi Hendrix, even though Jimi Hendrix did have like a black following, but it was like back then it was like that they separated like the who could listen to what. So so you had like white people listening to rock, black people listening to like soul and R&B, and that division came like in the maybe late 60s, early 70s, when that division, because before then we all know that black people have been rock and roll. You had like Chuck Berry, Little Richard, Bo Diddley, Fats Domino, people like that, and and a whole bunch of other black musicians were at that time that invented rock music, they call it rock and roll. And you had like black musicians doing the same music as white musicians, or vice versa. And there wasn't really a division till like maybe like when the '60s came. Then you had like you had in the '60s you had Motown and all this kind of stuff for the black audience, and then for the white audience had like the Beatles, the Stones, and they never talking about how like the white artists back then got the inspiration from black artists. They try to put it under the rug because I was listening to an interview with Little Richard like a long time ago. I think it was on BET. This like way back in the '90s. They're interviewing Little Richard. He pretty much said that rock and roll is just basically up tempo R&B. That's all it was. That's what he said. Rock and roll is up tempo R&B. So rock and roll is of black music. And Jimi Hendrix, before he got popular, he was a background musician for like people like James Brown and people like that. So Jimi Hendrix, he was in that soul R&B scene before he got popular as a rock guitarist, you know. And if you listen and he listen to Jimi Hendrix, it's pretty much like blues, like it spit up electrified blues. That's pretty much all Jimi Hendrix was doing. And then that style he invented, the white boys took it, and that's how you get the hard rock. And then for hard rock, you get metal, and then from metal, punk rock, and from there, alternative rock, and all these other subgenres of distorted guitar. Jimi Hendrix was the first man. But what all that music, alternative rock, metal, whatever you want to call it, quote unquote white people music, all that was started by one black man, Jimi Hendrix, back in the late '60s, early '70s. The whole distorted guitar sound, and then of course after Jimi Hendrix, you had other black groups that did rock music. They never really got popular. One in particular that I always like to give credit to is Funkadelic. P Funk, George Clinton, because he had two bands. He had Parliament, which was more like a funk band. Then George Clinton also had Funkadelic, which was a rock band. They've listed their music, and they were like a black rock band. And of course, they'll associate Funkadelic with funk. But if you listen to like the very early Funkadelic albums, like Maggot Brain, Free Your Mind, The Ass Will Follow, uh, Sit on the Verge of Getting It On, and which had like the classic song "I'll Stay," which is like the most underrated R&B rock fusion song ever. I mean, one of the best songs ever. And Funkadelic had like, of course, One Nation Under the Groove. You know what I'm saying? And Funkadelic were way ahead of their time. And if this is like Maggot Brain. Maggot Brain is a classic. That's a classic rock album. I've listened to it. And Funkadelic, they just never got the credit they deserve. And it's kind of like they made music, but Funkadelic, I think Parliament were more commercially um, viable, more commercially safe, whatever you want to call it. But it's like they played them on black radio. It's like the only song, Funkadelic song they played on black radio was "One Nation Under a Groove." They played you hear it every so often, like classic soul radio, whatever. And of course, we're coming out to Parliament. Everybody knows Mothership Connection. Which is a classic. And but besides Funkadelic, you always had like black rockers that pop up every so often. Of course, Prince is one. Um, and then you had like Living Color, Living Lenny Kravitz, Tracy Chapman, Terrence Trent D'Arby, Fishbone, Bad Brains, and I had like the great honor of I did like 2 years ago. I had the great honor of actually meeting the lead singer of Bad Brains, HR. I've always been like a big fan of Bad Brains, and their 1986 album "Eye Against Eye" is my all-time favorite album of all time. You know, and Bad Brains, even though they do get a lot of credit, they kind of do get the credit they deserve, and which is good. You know what I'm saying? Because as quiet as it kept, they were the founders of hardcore punk. They didn't discover punk rock, but we'll come down to that subgenre of punk rock called hardcore punk. Bad Brains laid the foundation for that. You know what I'm saying? Back in the late '70s, early '80s. And but there are like other bands before that. There's of course everybody knows the band called Death, Death. Death. They're like a black rock band, black punk rock band. Before there was punk, I got that. I need to pop that in. I got that. I got their CD. I haven't listened to it in a while, but they did a documentary on them. You can find it online, and of course there are other black rock bands like Sound Barrier. I got that. I got that CD. Xavion. Xavion were a black rock group out of Memphis, Tennessee, and they came out with the album "Eat Your Heart Out." And that's another black rock group. They don't get it the credit they deserve. Um, like I said, there's so many like black. I mean, it's like there's so many black rock groups now. I lost count. because before the 2000s, if you were a black person who liked rock music, you got ostracized by the black community. But now, it's like in recent years, people don't give a damn. No, people don't give a damn no more. If you're a black person who like rock music, even people in the hood and hip hop world, they're openly like rock now. So it's just like that stigma is pretty much gone now. You know what I'm saying? If you're a black person who likes rock, nobody really cares, which is good. You know what I'm saying? So, but going back to Prince, Purple Rain is a classic album, you know, and that's Prince's like definitive album. Of all the albums that Prince put out in his whole career, Purple Rain is like the one that sticks out the most. That was like defined his career, you know, and yeah, he put out a lot of good stuff before then, a lot of good stuff after that, and songs like When the Doves Cry. That's a classic song. I mentioned Let's Go Crazy. And before I was making this video, I was listening to The Beautiful Ones. That's a good song. That's a good R&B song that's on the album. And also my favorite Prince song of all time, Darling Nikki. I don't care what people think. Darling Nikki is the best Prince, my personal favorite Prince song, believe it or not. You know what I'm saying? That song is beyond abstract. That song is like, shoot. I mean, it stands on its own, man. It was never a single, but Darling Nikki is a song that everybody should at least listen to. Once you listen to it, you be addicted to it, And but that's all I gotta say for that. But we're coming down to like the movie Purple Rain. I remember watching that when I was a little kid, and I remember I was I forgot how old I was, but how old was I in '84? Maybe 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, maybe like 7 years old, 7, 8 years old around that time. And I remember I was a little kid. I was at I guess me and my mom and my sister were at my mom's friend's house, and I guess I don't know if they had a VHS copy of Purple Rain or it was on cable or something. But I vaguely remember. But I remember we were sitting there watching Purple Rain. This was like back in the early '80s. I was like 7, 8 years old, and I remember the sex scene in the movie. And what I'm saying, and I remember either my mom, somebody told me like, "Hey, turn around, don't watch that." You know what I'm saying? So I just, so I just that's what I remember. We used to have a copy of Purple. I haven't seen Purple Rain in so long. I remember we had like a VHS copy like years ago, but I've been meaning to get watch it again. And I remember my big cousin, he had the vinyl Purple Rain. I wish I held on to it. You know what I'm saying? And he had like the actual vinyl, like from the '80s, like the vinyl Purple Rain album. Man, I wish I still had it, man. You know what I'm saying? Because I stole it from I stole it from my cousin. This was like years ago. You know what I'm saying? And I had it, like, but I wish I held on to it though. But I still got a CD copy of Purple Rain. I still got the CDs. Like I said, I was just listening to the beautiful ones. And it's kind of sad that you have like artists like Prince and Michael Jackson who just passed away so early. Because first Michael Jackson passed away, and then in a few years after that, Prince made a transition. And it's crazy how like the two top black artists of the '80s, Michael Jackson and Prince, they just like they're not even here in the physical anymore. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of sad, and it's we losing our legends. As time goes by, we losing the legends. We lost Whitney Houston. We losing who else passed away? I mean, he had like all the great artists passed away. You know what I'm saying? Luther Vandross not here no more. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, as the years pass, thank God Stevie Wonder is still here. But but he's not got Stevie Wonder's gonna be here forever. You know what I'm saying? He's up there in age. Um, you know, Smokey Robinson, he's still around. Lionel Richie's still around. Um, but I'm talking about like the great legends, the great singers of the past. You know what I'm saying? It's like, and it's never gonna be replicated. You know what I'm saying? The classic soul from back in the day, it can never, ever, ever be replicated. Never. You know what I'm saying? The era, the golden age, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, that it will never be replicated again. So hold on to those classics, hold on to those CDs, hold on to those records. Pass it on to your kids. Let your kids listen to it. You know what I'm saying? And just pass it on to the next generation because that's history right there. You know what I'm saying? I don't care if it's Stax, Motown, uh, jazz, especially jazz, you know, um, I mean, any kind of music. It doesn't have to just be black music. It can be like classic rock, uh, even classic hip hop. Believe it or not, even though a lot of people don't like hip hop, classic hip hop needs to be preserved. You know what I'm saying. So it doesn't matter if I don't care if it's black music, white music. I mean, there's no you can't really put a color on music. But it doesn't matter if it's rock, alternative rock, heavy metal, hip hop, R&B, reggae. And we're coming out. Speaking of reggae, I saw that Bob Marley movie when it came out. I liked it. It's good that Bob Marley's pop. Being introduced to like a new generation. Bob Marley, he's another legend. What I'm saying that people shouldn't forget. And I'm just like, I'm just speaking whatever's on my mind. It's probably like it's very rare when I talk about music on my channel, but I'm a big lover of music. I love all kind of music. I don't care if it's hip hop, techno, electronic, jazz, classical. The only music that I'm not too familiar with is country music. I don't know that much about country music. I try to get into it. I couldn't get into it, but but I listen to all kind of music. I like 80s new wave. I like jazz. I like R&B, New Jack Swing. I pretty much like everything, bro. I like rock music, heavy metal, alternative, grunge, indie rock. You know, I just like classic hip hop. Even like abstract music, like house music, ambient, electronic dance, techno, rave, drum and bass, trip hop, acid jazz. I love all the kind of stuff. You know, what I'm saying? So I pretty much have a very eclectic taste when it comes down to music. Uh which kind of like boggles a lot of people's minds because they can't process it. You know what I'm saying? Because society is so compartmentalized. You got some group of people they'll only listen to one type of music. Then these other people listen to one type of music. They never like take the chance like listen to other kind of music. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of like I was on a I was on a date with this chick. She was like a very conservative Christian chick. I think we were on the day. I was driving her somewhere. This was like years back. I was driving her somewhere. I was driving. She was in passenger seat. Then I turned on. I put in a CD like hip hop CD, and she panicked. You know what I'm saying? She like you like this stuff? I'm like yeah. You know what I'm saying? 'Cause I think she was just into gospel and R&B whatever, but she didn't like the fact that I liked hip hop. You know what I'm saying? So it's so society is so compartmentalized. When it comes down to like who listen to what, whatever, and people don't really take a chance to listen to what else is out there. You know, but like I said, that's just pretty much what's on my mind right now. But if you like music, if you want to comment, about what I'm saying, comment below, like the video, agree, disagree. Just I love to hear, love to read the comments. So when you get a chance, comment. That's all I gotta say for that. You guys take it easy. Right now, as I'm recording this, it's like 1:30 in the morning as I'm recording this, and I might upload this soon. Y'all take it easy and peace out.